What's going on, people? We got another Instagram Live edition today. We got a pop artist here from Albany, I believe, New York, 518 kind of area up here. We're kind of all stuck in the upstate New York area. But Vince is a pop guy, man. You got to watch some of his videos. He's it's a little bit different, and I get a Michael Jackson vibe somehow. We got Infatuation playing on in the background. How you guys doing today? How you doing out there? We're gonna have Vince on here in a minute. He's been doing some gigs here the past couple of years, and we'll be chatting more. Let's see. See if he's in the building. How you guys doing out there today? Pretty good? Thanks for tuning in. Everybody's tuning in later. Thank you very much. We'll be live here in a minute. There we go. Hey, what's up, man?
How are you, dude?
What's going on?
Not too much, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Can you hear me okay and everything?
Yeah. Yep.
Cool.
Loud and clear.
Awesome. All right. Let's do it.
Digging the stash you got going on there, the Burt Reynolds.
Thank you. Yeah, we're doing I don't know if you saw, I have a new single coming out tomorrow, and it's a bit of like an 80s inspired pop tune. So for the video, which I shot actually right here in this basement, I did it all on green screens. But for the video, we kind of embraced the 80s vibe with it. And I did the whole stash thing as well. So yeah, we're kind of just going. We're doing we're getting really into character here for this new single, but I'm excited.
Yeah, you look different. Look different with it.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's different look for me, but I kind of like, I like changing up the look with each new single. It kind of makes it feel fresh, and it's kind of just like, it makes it more fun.
If it fits with the story, fits with the song, it's fun to dress up as characters,
Right, and that's pretty much what we did for this video. So, but yeah.
Yeah. I get a little bit of the Michael Jackson vibe through some of the videos and stuff like that. How you like to kind of have fun with it, and kind of I know we have a mutual friend, Cameron Gallagher here, that's directing all these videos, and the tones are kind of very similar
to the Michael Jackson type style. You're saying?
Yeah, the video part of it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Obviously, he's biggest pop star in the world probably. So I'd be remiss to say if he hasn't influenced me in some way, but yeah, as far as like working with Cameron, he's done all my videos at this point. I think, let me think. Yeah, Lady Player is going to be our 5th video we've done together. But he's fantastic. I started working with him just about a year ago, and as far as like local talent, he's got to be the best in the area. He just puts everything into everything he does, and he's a perfectionist, just like I am with everything. So every minute excruciating detail, we go through it, and we want it to be perfect. So yeah, working with Cameron's always a pleasure.
Cameron's a man. Breaking up a little bit here. Hopefully, if it's steadying out a little bit.
Okay.
Give it a minute.
My Wi-Fi looks good, so let me know if.
There you go.
It's back?
We got you back, I think. Well.
Okay.
It might do it a little bit. I noticed afterwards the playback, it might skip live, but the playback doesn't skip.
All right. Perfect. Yeah, I think my Wi-Fi looks good.
Yeah, it's weird. I think it's an Instagram thing. I really do, because sometimes the signal can be 100% and it's loading. Like right now, it's loading. Am I doing it?
You look good, like on my end, like you're not buffering at all or anything like that. So, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Could be a you thing.
So where did you start with all this as far as you wanting to do that genre of music, and was it based off of people that you listened to, or maybe people that you knew that got you into that style, and why do you love it?
Well, I'd say I guess, pop and pop rock and all that stuff has kind of been like rooted in me from the very beginning. I grew up about 2 hours down the road in Binghamton, New York, And
Oh,
since the time I was a little kid, my dad was in a classic rock band and he played guitar, piano. He was the lead singer as well. So I was always just kind of immersed in it from a very young
yep.
age. They were doing mostly covers and stuff like that, but it was a lot of like, 80s, 90s stuff. And what ended up happening is like, when I was a little kid, I would come down and I would just sing tunes with my dad or whatever. And that kind of thing. But then when I started like really, really getting into singing when I was like a teenager and doing it more, he was like, "Why don't you just come out and do a set with us?" And his band was at the point where they were kind of just recycling the same stuff for the past decade, and they wanted something new that would keep it fresh. So that's when he was kind of like, "Well, why don't you try to do a couple of like these new age like pop tunes that are because this was like mid 2000s and that's when pop was really like really
Yeah.
pushing through in the mainstream. So he's like,
I
why don't we
remember
keep
that.
it? Yeah, why don't we
Gwen
keep it fresh?
Stefani's and
Yeah. So he's like, why don't you see if you could sing some of these like Maroon 5 songs or this Bruno Mars song or, we would do like pop country stuff. We do like Keith Urban,
yep.
CeeLo Green, just like, stuff that was fun and on the radio and dancey. And, I kind of just started doing that type of thing with my dad's band when I was a teenager. And then it kind of, eventually evolved. I did go to college, got my 4-year degree, took that route. But then when I got out, I started working and I was like, you know what, like this, something just doesn't
What'd you study?
feel. I studied biochemistry, so nothing to do with music at all. But
Okay.
yeah, so yeah, I graduated and everything, got my degree, and then I got out and I was like, I don't know if this is really what I want to do for the rest of my life, and I don't know if this is what really like makes me tick. So that's kind of when I started to take it way more seriously, and I started getting into playing guitar more and writing, and it eventually just kept snowballing into what we have today. So yeah, that's all I can really say about it.
Nice. You're still cutting in a little bit out, but is he clear on your end, guys, or is he cutting in and out? Because we can always have him leave and join back in, and sometimes that does the trick too.
Yeah, let me
I
know,
caught most of that, but let us
Jules.
know,
How's it
folks.
sound?
You're the guys out there.
I see John's in
Cue the
here
Jeopardy
too.
music.
They're saying it's clear.
Okay, cool. All right.
All right. Yeah, might just be
So,
you.
um, with the influence of your dad and stuff like that, do you think you'll do a song with guitar, with the music videos and stuff like that, where you're more rocking and that kind of thing?
Um, Well, in the Rush video, we had I was holding a guitar in that video, and my guitarist was obviously playing guitar for that video, and that one's more guitar based. It's still very pop, but that's kind of something we did last summer, and then I also had my band in the video for Infatuation. Not that it's a rock song by any means, but there's some guitar in there. So, um, as someone that plays guitar, I try to keep like a semblance of real instrumentation in my singles and a lot of my stuff. So that's something that's like, important to me. But as far as like,
Yeah.
really rocking stuff like you do, um, it's funny you mentioned that because I do have a single coming out next month. It's the follow up to Lady Player, and it's a way more like it's still pop rock, but it's got a lot more heavy guitar elements, and it's like much more of like
A lot more
a
guitar.
screaming
I've
rock
always
song.
been a
Like
fan of that clean guitar from like Beat
hmm
It or some of the Michael Jackson stuff, and even like you said, Maroon 5, and that has some cool
yeah,
stuff. Matchbox
yeah,
20.
I would kind of I don't know what I would really like compare it to, but it's a total rock banger with like a pop edge, and it's got a lot of live guitar on it. And my dad actually just cut a solo we have like an 8 bar guitar solo in there in the middle eight, which I'm pretty excited about. So yeah, as far as
Nice.
like bringing back real guitars, real instrumentation, and just like a rock element, that is coming soon. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Yep.
So everybody out there, if you haven't seen this guy's music videos, very cool. Especially if I know there's pop fans on here, there's rock fans, country fans. Definitely check out his. He's from you're near Albany, right? Albany, New York, as of right now,
Yeah, I'm in Albany right now. Yep.
closest.
Yes.
Are you cutting out? Sorry, say that again.
Oh yeah, I'm in Albany right now, actually.
So
Yep.
what do you? I think you use the local club for your music video. How do you like that area?
Yeah, so for Infatuation, it wasn't actually a club, it was a cafe, which you would never
Oh, really?
guess
Could fool
based
me.
on it. Yeah. Yeah, I know. So, we shot it in Cafe Monocle, which is up in Cohoes.
Mhm.
My friend Kelsey opened her doors for us that day. She let us use the whole place for like the bar scene, like party setup, and then for the choreo scene with the girls and the dancers, we just went right next door to it's Future Talent of Dance, which is a studio owned by Nikki Kennedy Reed, and she was the
Yeah.
choreographer
Yep.
on that video. So we just did, both portions of Infatuation right there on that little corner in Cohoes, and yeah, I was very happy with the way that turned out. It was cool.
Yeah. There's a lot of energy and stuff too. And I thought it was a club. I thought it was one of those.
No,
I don't know,
yep.
some places in Albany. I was like, he must have did that. Well, I
No,
remember
yeah, we.
Cameron talking to me about that. He's like, I'm working this Vince guy, and he's like, we're gonna have like some girls on the set and stuff like that. And he goes, it's gonna be a little different. And I was like, all right, that's cool. That's rock
It's
and roll,
definitely
man.
different.
Still rock and roll.
Yeah, I mean, I for that song, I wanted to do something that was just, pretty much what you would expect for that type of song. And coming off like my first album, I was like, I'm missing just like a real just club party starter banger type song. So, after working with some new producers and getting signed with a management company, I was like, my first single back that I put out has to be just a total one that blows the roof off. So that's why we chose
Yeah,
that one.
those guys
But
are nice too. I
yeah,
did that interview. They're really nice. The management guys that you use.
definitely, yeah. But yeah, I mean, for that one too, Cameron was just so great and so on point with everything and the way he made all the lighting look, and yeah, it was a cafe, but we turned it to a whole club. So yeah.
It worked.
hmm
What's going on? If you guys got questions for Vince, throw them in right now. We got Matt, we got Caroline, a couple other people I know tuned in here. Everybody's going
What's
to be
up, guys?
available after too. So if you guys are working or something like that, feel free watch later as well.
hmm
We got Missy. What's going on, Missy? I know Missy's got to have a question. She loves this stuff. She loves it. So what kind of
Um,
guitar do you have? What kind of guitar do you like to play?
it's an Abilene acoustic guitar. It's just like it's nothing special. It's just kind of the mechanism I use to write, really. So I'm not by any means a crazy guitarist, and I've only been playing for a
Yeah,
little
you don't
bit,
have
but
to buy
I'm kind
eight
of
of them and have backups and all that kind of stuff.
yeah, at the end of the day, I'm a singer. But I can play some progressions and I can play rhythm, and so that's kind of just the mechanism I use to build the song. And I'm like, all right, what chord progression do I want? What style am I going for, and everything like that. And then my favorite part is kind of taking it from an acoustic rendition to the studio and talking with the producer and being like, this is what I want it to sound like, and that's how I did Lady Player. I
Who
wrote it
produces and
like,
mixes your stuff? Do you have or masters, all that good stuff?
yeah, I work with a bunch of different people. So like my last three singles um, were produced by Theory and Simona Ermacora, which is he's a pop EDM producer out in Italy. Actually, I've never even met the guy, but I was referred to him through a good friend. So and he's phenomenal. And then for the ones I'm doing next, well, Lady Player, which comes out tonight at midnight, was produced by Adam Claremont, who is
Okay.
a phenomenal producer here locally. I don't know, you may have heard of him.
I think
Um,
I've heard of them. Yeah.
yeah, Adam's great, and the great part about working with Adam is like, it's not like I just went in there and he's like, oh, this is how it's gonna be, and this is how we're gonna do it. Like he really let me take control creatively, and it was just cool, like I said, to see it change from five chords to this full production that it is now. It's just a total like 80s dance song. So,
I hear you.
yeah, so Adam produced it, and two of my bandmates actually played on the track. My bassist Dylan put down a few bass lines, and then my keyboard player Smike, he did like the main synth hook too as well. So it's always fun like collaborating with the guys on songs too. It just makes it so much more like authentic, and I'm really a
Yeah,
big
yeah. When you have
believer.
real people playing stuff, it's like,
Yeah.
especially a couple guys, you get that chemistry.
Yeah, and I think like I'm always a big believer that the more heads you have come together on something, the better the product's going to be in the end. You know, I don't think any great songs were ever really written by one person. It's very seldomly does that happen.
Very rare.
Very rare.
Jackson did it though on a couple, man. He was
Oh
in
yeah.
studios early AM and all night just crafting the stuff. I don't think
hmm
they didn't mention it, but he probably didn't, exactly mix the record, but he
Oh
set it
yeah.
up for that, set it up for the mix. That
Yeah.
helps so
Oh
much,
yeah. I would never call myself a producer by any means, but I
But you have a
certainly
vision. So that's
Yeah, I certainly have a heavy hand in every element that goes into the song, not just, what I'm singing, but what the instruments are doing as well. And that's important to me as an artist. Um, it's not like I won't grab a beat that I really like from a producer and be like, okay, I'm going to write a song to this, because I definitely do that as well. But the
yeah.
ones that I build up from scratch, or like I said, build up from my acoustic guitar, are always a little bit more fun for me. And that was the case with Leggy Player here. So I'm very excited for it to come out.
So that'll be out midnight tonight on your YouTube channel. What about Facebook too?
Yeah, so the song will be out at midnight on like Spotify, iTunes, all that kind of stuff. And then the video will be 10 a.m. tomorrow morning on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
So yeah.
So what have you been doing? Well, Sylvia asked if you could work with anybody, who would you want to work with? And
Um,
we got one other question too.
if I could work with anybody, in the industry, it'd probably be Max
Let's
Martin.
let's say realistically, like who do you want to work with realistically?
Max Martin. I mean,
Like you could reach out right now.
I mean, are you talking like locally, or are you talking like a dream collaboration type thing?
I'm talking about if you wanted to rock with Maroon 5 or whatever.
I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't turn it down, but I think one of my like biggest inspirations in the pop game is Max Martin, and he's not an artist at all. You probably don't even really know who he is, but he's the guy who's kind of been conducting the behind the scenes for the pop industry for the last 2 decades. Honestly, he's got an absurd amount of number one hits that he's written or produced or both. I think he's the songwriter with the third most number ones on the chart behind Paul McCartney and John Lennon. So
Damn.
he's a hell of a producer. He's a hell of a writer. Um, you know, his production is like flawless. Everything sounds so good that he does, and I'm just a huge fan of him. So if I had the chance to work with, if they said you get one person in the industry to work with, this is your one chance, I think I would pick him. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
no question
It's
about
worth it,
it.
man. The right producer can do wonders or it can do the worst.
Yeah, yeah, of
So
course. And so do you produce all your stuff, or do you have like a guy around here that you work with in
I
terms of like?
used to. Sometimes I've worked with different producers. Right now, the new record I produced myself, the two EPs.
hmm
But before then, I had the guitarist from Daughtry produce a song. I've worked with a couple people from Nashville. So
hmm
it depends. Like for me, like every project changes. And sometimes, like the first two weren't on purpose. It just kind of happened that way. And then
Yep.
from there, I kind of decided, based on budget and everything else, for now, this is the way that I'll go. But I'm definitely always like it. Sometimes I'm like, because I've talked with some of the producers that I know, like you reached out to certain people too, and it's like someday you hope to work with them, even if
Yeah.
it's out of the range. Because sometimes it's I hate to say it, but sometimes it's price. It's not free,
Oh yeah.
and it's do you
Yes,
want to
definitely.
pay that? It's like 3 grand for a song, or 5 grand, or some people charge 500, 1,000, whatever. So that's definitely we have small budgets, people, for musicians. It's very tough, very tough.
Well, being an independent artist, yeah, I think that's your biggest limiting factor always is budget, because yeah, you could pay to work with the top producers, but it's gonna drain your bank account. So you have to do kind of like
Yeah,
balancing
definitely
act.
worth it though. It can be really worth it.
It can be, yeah. So yeah, I think it's, being independent is always just like, that's just another thing you got to think of when you don't have a huge record label behind you. Um, I see
Yep.
down here in the
You got the
comments,
guys, you got the session guys. You gotta worry about too.
yeah, yeah, but um, I wanted to let you know down in the comments here. My roommate Heather actually said she saw you perform back in 2011 at Upstate Concert Hall. Um, I don't know if you remember her at all, but I think she said you were doing like a battle of the bands type thing or something like that, and you
Battle
gave
of the
her an
band.
EP. So, yeah, I told her tonight. I was like, "Hey, I'm doing this live interview with Frank Palangi," and she's like, "Oh my God, I know Frank Palangi." So, yeah, she just wanted to give you a quick shout out.
What's up, Heather? How you doing? I think it might have been the I don't know. We did a regular battle. We did a Grammy battle at the time. So the one year Grammys had this open competition where if you won the battle online at your local venue, you could play at the Grammys, and it was crazy. I remember getting in like the Fox TV or something for it, and maybe it was
Hmm.
that. I don't really know, but yeah. Have you ever done a battle of the bands? Like, what do you think as far as do you think they're fair?
I've never done one personally. I would like to, but in terms of are they fair, I don't know. Like, how does the process usually work? Is it like rigged? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, a lot of I take stabs at it in my songs, and it's
Oh,
so I tell you sometimes if you ever do one, it's literally who sold the most tickets. Doesn't matter what you sound
uh,
like. You can just
yeah.
stand up there the whole time. Other
It's the guy
times
who's pulling in
it's
the
my
most
my
people.
brother's niece or something is in the competition and they win. It's not always fair. And but have
Yeah.
you tried out for any vocal stuff, like any of the TV shows or the local contests or anything like that? What do you think of
Um,
those?
I think they're good and bad at the same time. I have not tried out for anything like The Voice or American Idol. A lot of people have asked me that. I don't know if I would though. I mean, I would consider it, but to me, it's like it definitely can't hurt you, right? Like it's like, it's nothing but exposure, so that's always
Yeah,
good. But part
it's
of
good
me
exposure.
almost wonders if it's like worth the time and the commitment and then honestly, when you like, if you make it far enough and you like win or you get in the top percentage of some of those shows, like I know there's actual like contracts that you're bound to, that you can only work with certain producers or writers, or you have this record contract for X amount of years and you're only entitled to this much, and like American Idol gets, this percentage of your earnings. So I know there's a lot of weird stuff that goes on with that, which is why I'm not like, I guess like
Yeah, they
jumping.
definitely they own you for a couple of years. They can.
Yeah,
I've
which I'm
I've
not really
interviewed on
into.
here a couple of idols and the
Hmm.
voice people, but it's we don't really
Hmm.
I don't ask them that in public because you can't. But I've actually just the audition contract I've looked at. Like if you can audition, but if they use your audition for the show and you were on with the producers, like just that contract, I read it and I was like, I don't know, man. I
It's
just
it's
don't
definitely
know. I
sketchy.
could just
Yeah,
imagine. Um,
and I think especially in this day and age, I mean, I can't remember anybody in the last 10 years from any of those shows who's like won it and then like had a legitimate career afterwards. Like they always kind of just fade into obscurity. So, no
yeah.
no shade to those people at all, but I don't know if it's like, I don't know if that many people care anymore, I guess is a way to put it, like about those shows. But
I think they do. It's they hype the judges. It's about the judges and the celebrities, and it's not about
oh
the
for sure.
talent maybe anymore.
Yeah, definitely.
And they kind of just when you're done with the show, they just don't really help you a lot anymore. Like it used to be an automatic. There was a tour. If you were in the top 10, you all get record deals. You're all on the radio. I
Yeah,
haven't
yeah.
heard, like you said, anybody on the radio from those shows yet.
Yeah, well, I also think I don't know. I mean, there could be a million reasons for that too, but the way like popular music is now and the way that it's like morphing into, it doesn't like cater to the types of singers that go on those shows. You know, like when you're auditioning for American Idol or The Voice or whatever, like you have to be a top-notch vocalist. You have to be able to like hit all these notes and runs, and you just have to be like an expert. And you know, you don't hear that many like strong vocalists or pop vocalists on the radio anymore, anyways. So it's like maybe that has something to do with it too. Just the climate and the like landscape of what's popular in 2020 has changed so much that nobody cares about, you know, what that artist is doing after they win the show. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my take on it. I've been asked that question many times. Are you going to audition for American Idol? And at the end of the day, I think there's a lot of other ways you can break into the scene and get out there. And I kind of want to just have control, and I want to like be in the driver's seat when it comes to my career. And I think, you know,
Yeah.
honestly, those shows are for just really big vocalists. And I think my strongest asset is probably my songwriting. So I don't know if it's the show for me, but
That's what I was thinking too, is why don't they do an original song American Idol show? Because I think
well,
everybody would try
they
out for
do have
that.
one.
I mean,
They do have a show like that actually. It just came out. It's called Songland, and it's literally like, you know, they have some famous people on there. They have like Ryan Tedder from One Republic and a couple other like heavy like writers in the pop industry. And the premise of the show is like you send them a demo of a song you wrote, and if they like the song, they invite you on, and then you perform it for these people. And it's televised
yeah,
just like American Idol or whatever. And then I guess I think what happens is if they like the song enough, um, the judges get to pick which one of them wants to record it and put it out. So that's kind
but
of
it's for
like,
them. It's not for you.
yes,
That's the
yeah,
difference.
it's like American Idol for songwriters. So if you're willing to like sell your song to somebody or sell your song to like One Republic or Nick Jonas or whoever, then like yeah, that's the show
Yeah.
for you. But yeah, so
Yeah, I think a lot of people would try out for something if there was a show that you could go on there, do some cover stuff, but focus on original music, the artist itself, because you're right. There's people that can sing around, I mean, everybody. They're just massive singers, but when it comes down to it, like I was watching Kurt Cobain, I want a Kurt Cobain that necessarily he can't sing all this crazy stuff, but man, he can
hmm
do songs, he can perform, all that kind of stuff. That's an
hmm
artist to me.
yeah, yeah, you know, I really agree with that too, and I stand by that. Um, you need to have a, you know, you got to be able to carry a tune, you got to be able to sing, but at the end of the
Yeah, gotta be
day,
the front man.
it's always been more about the song, you know, than anything else. It's never been about who's the best vocalist to get on the radio or who's, you know, the most technically perfect singer. It's always about the song, you know, and I think there's countless
Yeah,
examples of that. So, um, you know, and that's why you never see the best technical vocalists who are making it big. It's always the people with the best songs. So that's
yep.
just like, you know,
What do you
something I keep
think?
in mind.
Um, what do you think? What's your view with so say you made it. Let's say we all made it.
hmm
What is that? You know, I ask people a lot. You know, a lot of people it's, oh, you got to be the next Metallica. You got to be the next Michael Jackson. But I go, it depends on where you're coming from because making it could be multitude of things. Is it your goal? You know, is it that you are doing this for a living? Is it you made it to the point where you know you did tours, you're working with people in the industry, and you're still making money. Like what? I think people they kind of say they throw you through the loop where you just want to be that Metallica, you got to be that Ozzy, you know, or something like that.
hmm
I don't think
hmm
that's not fair. I don't know how to describe it. See, what do you think about that?
So you're saying like, do you feel like you have to be like, you know, do you feel like you have to walk in the same path as another famous band or person to consider yourself like made it or or have some sort of like legacy? Is that what you're getting at? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, a little bit of that, or you know, it's you haven't made it until you're on every radio station and you're number one.
Yeah, I mean, I think, making it can mean a lot of different things to people. Certainly, I think you want to get to the point where you're making a lot of money, that you're self-sufficient, and that you're not in the hole from, production costs and video costs and everything like that. Um,
Yeah.
but I think, I don't know, I think if my music had an impact, whatever that meant, if that meant, Billboard Top 40, or if that meant a charting album, or sales that could support me financially for the rest of my life. I think it could mean a lot of different things, but more. I think for me, most of all, I just want to see my music have an impact, and I want to see it connect with people. Um, I'm not in it, and I have some songs that I've written that are unreleased that kind of discuss this, because it's a thing to discuss for artists in the industry. And I'm
Yeah.
definitely not in it for the money. I've never been a real like materialistic or money centric person. I'm not in it because I want to be like famous. Like anyone who knows me knows that that's not me. That's not my personality. I'm not like, oh, I just want everyone looking at me all the time. But I'm really in it
Yeah.
because I love music. I love singing. I love writing songs, and I love, performing. So that's kind of my take on it. And if I can do those four things and support myself for the rest of my life and have an impact on people, then that's probably what I would consider making it.
That's my view too. Is
Hmm.
you're doing well if exactly what you said, you know?
Hmm. Yeah.
Don't do it because you I mean, some people do. They got the drive where they have to be that next Metallica. But the problem is that
Hmm.
a lot of them don't make it, and they end up in a gutter or something. It's
Yeah. I think if you're in it for fame or money, I think you're doing it and you're in it for the wrong reason. And I feel like those people, they might have
yeah,
enough push and drive to break out for a little bit or something, but I don't think those people ever really last, or, have a lasting
yeah.
impact, or legacy like you're talking about. I think if you're in it for the wrong reasons, sooner or later that kind of shows, and that kind of comes up to the surface. So,
Yeah.
mhm.
I always do it as what we do. It's half us and half the fans. A lot of times now I'm starting to realize that it's what are my fans want to hear or something like that, and what do I want to
Yeah,
hear? And it's
yeah,
always I pay attention to their needs, not just with the music, but a lot of national artists they're not on their Instagrams personally messaging everybody and stuff like that. It's
yeah.
that's why you do it. Like I would never not take a picture or something. If somebody asked, it's that
Hmm.
that's our job, and that's why I love it.
Yeah, no, I think connecting with fans and people and feeling like you're doing them a service is a huge part of it, and what makes it rewarding. And like you talked about, writing songs for yourself and for what you want to hear, like that's also a good way to look at it and a good way to do it, because if you're writing music that you like, and not just for, what you think people want to hear, is when it comes off the most authentic, I think. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I've
You ever
done that
run
a
into
lot
a
of times.
case? Yeah, you ever run into a case where you're like, this is a great song, but I don't think it's gonna be like kind of commercial enough or something. Like I always have that in back of my head of,
Hmm.
it's maybe a little too dated or something like that.
I've definitely had those thoughts before, like when I'm writing, and I have, for the amount of singles and songs I have out, I have like triple that amount that are just written, sitting in a file somewhere that I
Yeah.
haven't recorded yet. And I think every artist is that way. But yeah, there's a lot of songs where I'm like, I love this song and I think it's good and I think it's personal, but I was like, I don't know if anyone else would like it. So am I gonna
Yeah.
spend a bunch of time and money now to record it? So it's like, when you're independent, you have to really, I think, prioritize and pick and choose what your best material is, because when you go into the process of, okay, I'm going to do the song, I'm going to produce it, I'm going to record it, I'm going to spend money to mix it, I'm going to do a video for it, like you're investing,
Got to be serious about that song.
you're
Yeah.
you're investing a good amount of money. Yeah, so when I'm picking singles, I'm really listening back and listening for can we make this production sound good? Can we make it sound current? Can we make it interesting? And can I hear this on the radio, you know? And if the answer is no,
Yeah.
then I'll shelf it and I'll move on to something else because, you know, if there does come a time when I have a major label backing me, then that's the time to make those songs, you know, when it's
Yep.
not your money. So yeah, you know,
Definitely.
yeah.
Everybody out there right now, follow him on Instagram here. He's got a new video coming out 10 a.m.
Tomorrow, 10
tomorrow,
a.m.
midnight tonight for Spotify, all those good places. And I was gonna, along with what you just said, I was gonna say that is you haven't released a series of demos and stuff, and then other crap, and then your good stuff. You start off with what you think is the best. I noticed that with your videos and your stuff. So it's great to have people grow with you, but I
Hmm.
always tell people release your best stuff that
Of
you think
course, yeah.
is good, you know?
Yeah, and yeah, even you know, my best, you know, what I thought was my best a year ago is not my best today, you know. So I think
Yeah.
if you know, you can listen to my stuff from 2019, and you can listen to my stuff from, you know, tomorrow, and you could say, okay, he's growing as an artist, he's improving. You know, the songs are getting better, the vocals are getting better, everything's getting better. So you know, as long as I'm not going in the opposite way, I think that's all you can ask for. And yeah, I think people do like to see that growth as an artist from starting out to where you are today. So
So what's next after the video and stuff? I know the whole COVID stuff kind of threw gigs out of the
yeah,
window.
yeah, that is, it's just it really sucks. I mean, you know, it's obviously not much you could do about it, but we had a lot of stuff um, lined up for the spring and summer that we unfortunately had to cancel. But you know, I'm hoping maybe this summer I could get out to a few like smaller things to do, maybe like an acoustic set or two, for like people, you know, maybe at a restaurant or bar or something like that. Because even those small intimate acoustic sets go a long way. And you know, I
Yeah.
have material of my own, obviously, but I know a ton of covers as well that are just crowd pleasers. So that's always good to throw in as filler. But
Keep things fresh, keep your energy up in the,
mhm.
you know, I call it the frontman thing, you know,
Yeah, just
entertaining people and stuff. And
Yeah, you just got to keep pushing. And I definitely, you know, I complicated came out in February, and then you know, COVID hit, so I kind of
yep.
took a step back from March and April, and then Guilty Pleasure came out last month. But now that we're really full in with summer, I'm gonna really start pushing songs out. I have, you know, a song tomorrow. I've got that single in July that I mentioned, and I have one coming in August too. So I'm really taking this summer to just put out what I feel is my best material, and what I hope connects with the most people.
That's all I can do. And then just go
Mm-hmm.
from there.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Jules says she
Julia,
can't wait for the single tonight. That's my friend Jules. We love her. She's the best. Love you, Jules.
Daughtry, we got something, something, something Daughtry. That's gonna be a new inside joke for me and her. Something, something, something Daughtry.
Honey, I knew it. Yeah. Yeah.
It
It
is
definitely is.
exciting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I
Any
love
last
discovering
minute
them.
questions for Vince here? Throw them in.
What do you got, guys? Come on. Any
Come
questions?
on.
Questions? Got some likes
Yeah,
coming
man,
in
I was
from
gonna say,
Jules.
if you ever come across a song where you need rock guitar, I've got home studio. I can just send it over to you and then use it whatever you want.
Perfect. Yeah, I will keep you in mind because, yeah, you know, I'm still a little bit early in my career, so I'm kind of fine tuning my sound. But like I said in the
Yeah.
beginning, I do love keeping authentic sounding stuff in there. Um, you know,
Or
live
you can tell me what
guitars.
you want. I'll just play it.
Yeah, yeah, but no, we should totally do something that'd be fun. And you know, it's always good to work with other artists in the 518. You know, keep the local music coming.
Yeah.
Hmm.
This is my other question. What was your other question? My other question. Type it again for us.
Let's see, trying to find it here.
I'm not sure. I don't like how the questions always stay at the bottom and like how it goes up.
Yeah, I know. Oh, do you play any other instruments besides guitar? Is that your question? Yeah, okay. Um, when I was a kid, like really young, I probably like from like 7 to 10, I took classical piano lessons. So I used to be pretty good
Oh,
at
there you go.
piano, honestly, but it was a lot of like very classical stuff, like Mozart, Beethoven, and I just didn't like it, because it wasn't fun, it wasn't pop music, it wasn't anything that was current, and it kind of turned me off to music for a little bit, to be honest with you, because I just couldn't stand doing it anymore. So that um, I kind of dropped out of piano, and I wish I didn't. I really wish I didn't, and maybe I'll pick it back up at some point. But yeah, piano was a big part of my life when I was a kid. But I found that switching over to guitar was a lot more conducive for me to write music and find my own sound. So, but yes, I
Yeah.
would like to get back into playing piano.
I noticed piano is it's really hot now as far as in all the pop songs and stuff. There's always some sort of melody going on, even if it's in the background.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's great for counter melody stuff, and you can do anything with MIDI, obviously. So, which is definitely all over pop. So, but yeah.
So today we had Burt Reynolds in the building, Mr. Burt Reynolds.
What's up? What's up, Zach? How are you, buddy? Thanks for dropping in. Oh, I screwed something
Thanks
up.
for tuning in, everybody.
Thanks for having me, friend.
Everybody tuning in later. Thank you very much. And if you have any other questions, put them in the comment section. I'll answer them. He'll answer them. And we're gonna be around. We ain't going anywhere. And make sure you follow him on Instagram and check out his new video.
What's up,
I
dude?
always want to call it Lady Killer for some
You
reason.
know,
That
you
would be
know
a cool
what?
name.
You know what? That is funny you say that because a lot of people, I'd say most people, in fact, call it that. And I don't know why. Is that maybe like a saying or a thing or is that a song that's already been out or something? I don't know.
I mean, it's like a phrase, Lady Killer. I think it's been in a
Okay.
lot of lyrics.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. A
Yeah.
lot of people call it Lady Killer. It's called Lady Player. And I want to clarify what it's about because I don't know if we talked about it, and I think a lot of people, and I've tried to make this clear through my posts on Instagram. A lot of people are thinking it's like saying I'm a lady player, like I'm playing the girl or whatever, but it's actually the opposite of that. It's the song is about a girl who's a player, and I'm referring to her as just a lady player because the whole
Yeah.
inspiration for the song, I'll give you the quick thing, was like I was sitting
She's the
around one
bad guy.
day. Right, well, not painting her as the bad guy, but I'm painting her in a way that
Yeah.
every female vocalist or pop vocalist does to the men they sing about. Because I was sitting there one day and I was like, there's so many songs sung by women about men who are players and men who played them and screwed them over or something like that, right? And I was like, why can't
Yeah.
I do a song? Why can't I do a song from a guy's perspective about a girl who screwed him over? So that's kind of where the inspiration came from. And I just wanted to paint a picture and a scenario of this alpha female, um, you know, bad bitch type character. And that's where Lady Player came from. So that's what the song's about. But I hope people dig it.
We'll look forward to seeing that tonight and tomorrow.
Yes, yes. Tune in tomorrow at 10 a.m. for the video, directed by Cameron Gallagher. He's phenomenal. He's a joy to work with, as always.
I was trying to get him
And
to come in on the video chat with us for a second. We could talk for like a couple minutes about all the videos that we've done. Be cool.
oh yeah, that can you pull him in, or can you only do one at a time?
I think you can pull like up to 4 people or something. I don't really know. I know you can do at least 3.
Hmm.
So we'll see. Maybe sometime. Hall and Oates.
Yeah, Maneater too. Yeah, I mean that's certainly what that song is about. But I
Yeah.
guess I guess I'm doing the 2020 version of Maneater then. Let's say that.
There you go.
Yeah,
The pop version. The pop.
I'm doing the pop Maneater. So yeah, take a look at it tomorrow.
Sounds good. Well, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it. And I
Yeah,
wanted to
man.
go in because I don't really know a lot about you, and I kind of like that sometimes that we're talking where we just discover because I see these aren't really interviews, they're just chats.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, well, I hope you learned enough, and I'm an open book, so anytime you want to chat, just let me know. I'd be happy to come on again.
Sounds good. We'll rock some guitar on some song eventually here.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
I'm with
Or I
it.
can play bass, whatever. Whatever you want me to do.
All right. I'll let you know for sure.
All right. See you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you follow Vince. And we'll be back rocking and rolling, all right? We got another one coming up on Tuesday, 6 o'clock, Mr. Rod Black. And we'll see what's going on for July. I know we'll see. We'll see what goes on. It's hard getting guests, man. It's hard getting some guests because you got to line them up and the schedules and all that crazy stuff. We'll see.
Yep. All right.
Peace,
Thanks for
guys.
having
Thanks
me,
for
man.
following.
Talk soon, guys.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. We'll chat
Bye.
soon.